In 1908, a single drill struck oil in the Middle East. Within decades, empires collapsed, borders were redrawn, wars were ignited, and America's future became tied to a desert thousands of miles away. This is the true story of how oil quietly became the most powerful weapon in modern history. Welcome to History's Echo, where energy becomes power and the past explains today's wars. At the dawn of the 20th century, oil was still a curiosity. Coal-powered empires, horses moved armies, navies ran on steam, then everything changed. In 1908, a British-backed drilling operation struck oil in Persia, modern-day Iran. What followed wasn't just an energy discovery. It was a geopolitical earthquake. Oil-powered engines, ships, tanks, and airplanes. Whoever controlled oil would control the future of war and peace. Britain understood this first. In 1914, just before World War I, the British government quietly bought a controlling share in the Anglo-Persian Oil Company. The Royal Navy switched from coal to oil. Empires were no longer defended by soldiers alone. They were defended by fuel. World War I ended with old empires shattered: Ottoman, Austro-Hungarian, Russian. And in the ruins of the Ottoman Empire, European powers redrew borders with straight lines and secret deals. The Middle East wasn't divided by culture or history. It was divided by oil access. The Sykes-Picot Agreement carved the region into artificial states, ensuring Western control over future resources. Local populations had no vote. Oil was beneath their feet. Power was above their heads. By the 1930s, American companies entered the game. Saudi Arabia, poor, tribal, and largely ignored, sat on one of the largest oil reserves on Earth. In 1933, Standard Oil of California signed a deal with the Saudi monarchy. It would change both nations forever. For the United States, oil meant security and growth. For Saudi Arabia, oil meant survival and absolute power. An unspoken pact was formed. America would provide protection. Saudi Arabia would provide oil. World War II proved how vital oil had become. Germany lost not because it ran out of soldiers, but because it ran out of fuel. Japan attacked Pearl Harbor partly because US oil sanctions threatened its survival. After the war, America emerged as a superpower. But there was a problem. Oil consumption exploded. Domestic supply couldn't keep up. The Middle East became essential. In 1945, President Franklin D. Roosevelt met Saudi King Abdulaziz aboard a US warship. No treaty was signed, but the alliance was sealed. Oil for security, security for oil. For decades, the arrangement worked. Then came 1973. During the Yom Kippur War, Arab oil producers imposed an oil embargo against the United States. Gas lines stretched for miles. Prices quadrupled. America panicked. The message was clear. Oil could cripple an economy without firing a shot. From that moment, US foreign policy changed permanently. Energy security became national security. Military bases expanded across the Middle East. Alliances hardened. Interventions multiplied. In 1990, Iraq invaded Kuwait, threatening a massive share of the world's oil supply. The United States responded with overwhelming force. Officially, it was about sovereignty. Unofficially, it was about stability in the global oil market. The Gulf War was fast, decisive, and televised. It also cemented America's military presence in the region. But stability never came. Sanctions devastated Iraq throughout the 1990s. Extremism grew, resentment deepened. Then came 2003. Weapons of mass destruction were the justification. Oil was the suspicion. The Iraq War toppled a dictator, but unleashed chaos. Trillions were spent. Hundreds of thousands died, and the region fractured further. Oil flowed, but stability didn't. Meanwhile, new players entered the energy chessboard. China invested heavily across the Middle East and Africa. Russia leveraged energy as political pressure. OPEC manipulated supply to influence prices. Oil was no longer just a resource. It was leverage. In the 21st century, America tried to break free. Fracking boosted domestic production. Renewables promised independence. Yet global oil markets still dictate prices at the pump. Conflicts still flare near pipelines. Navies still patrol shipping lanes. Because oil isn't just about energy. It's about control over time. How fast armies move. How economies breathe. How nations survive. History doesn't say oil caused every war. It says oil magnified power. And when power concentrates around a resource, conflict follows. The Middle East didn't become unstable by accident. It became strategic. Every era has its fuel. Every empire protects what powers it. The question isn't whether resources shape history. They always have. The question is whether humanity can escape the cycle before the next resource becomes the next battlefield. This is History's Echo. Follow for the stories beneath the headlines, because energy doesn't just move machines, it moves the world.